Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ultralord Show. With you forever, the Ultralord, your mother's favorite producer. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that has viewed my previous video of Mix from Scratch, the Mix from Scratch series. If you are an engineer, if you're a producer, if you just want to get a little know-how on how to use FL Studio Mix and Master, I really recommend you guys checking out the series. I'm going to drop a link in the top right screen, and then you can follow that whole series and everything like that, just to touch on the video, because I feel like you might get a little bit lost when you do this one now. Anyway, today we're going to do a video about referencing music, because I had a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram asking me, how do you actually reference music and stuff like that. Referencing music, in a way, is just simply what it sounds like. You get a song that is popular or whatever, doesn't really matter, or like a vibe that you really like, and you just compare your mix to their mix because they were done by, quote, professionals, unquote, engineers or producers to make the song sound the way it does. But I just want to tell you guys that before you get lost in this whole thing of referencing, music is a very finicky thing. As like, depending on how you like your sound and everything like that, it's very, I don't know. You can't just say there's no right or wrong way to do it. So I have now 5 songs of guys who are either Billboard Top 100, South African Summer Award winners and Grammy Award winners and everything like that. And songs that were really big, and I guess it's a good representation of the genre that they do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my spectral analyzer, and I'm going to take out a RMS value. Now, also with RMS, like I said in my previous video, it's different from full scale. Full scale is showing you the peak of everything, you know what I mean, of where, or peak to peak, whatever you want to call it, but it shows the peak of the song. RMS shows the average volume, and it shows you where the average is. So I'm going to just go through these 5 songs, and I'm just going to show you on the waveform how it looks like. Please be careful. They're going to be loud. Some going to be, depending on how you're hearing on the big speakers and stuff like that, will change. But, okay, cool. So I'm going to play this song by Gary Clark Jr., Gotta Get Something, which is kind of a rock kind of sound, a rock song. So we're going to start on the rock thing and just move on, and pretty much this is how it sounds like alone. Here we go. So this is the song. But I want the whole city gonna eat it up, eat it up. I can't sleep, gotta get into something. 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 Whoa. You see what I mean? The song is really loud. It's hitting at -7 RMS, which is, I also feel like that's like the standard of all music around the world, that you want to hit it between -11 to -7. And it's really, really fuzzy. It has a lot of like high end, and I'm assuming it's from the guitars that are coming in, the drums and everything. But they decided to go on a much brighter term than like with the low end and everything. Like, it's really bright and it's really compressed. I mean, look at that waveform as well. It is a brick. That's all you got. So, okay, cool. Let's move on to then something that's a more soulful, more jazzy from Anderson .Paak. We're going to play Tints featuring Kendrick Lamar. Again, Grammy nominated artists, songs that made money on streaming services and everything. Let's see how that sounds. Get up in my rearview mirror. I can't be round that open strip. I need tints. Windows, I need tints. Windows tint. I can't be flying down that one tint. With a bad bitch in my whip. I need tints. Cool. Now, there's already a huge contrast between the two songs. First of all, it's not as compressed. I mean, this song was peaking at -9 RMS, and in my opinion, they made more of a flat sound, and it really, I'm used to listening to flat neutral music because of the speakers I'm using and everything, and I'm assuming what they're planning to do is just they take the song out and let speaker manufacturers like decide what they're gonna do with their song. If it's flat and it's neutral, it should translate better, if you understand me. But it's extremely flat, extremely neutral, very hard, very little compression that's actually going on in this track, which I also kind of dig this vibe as well. And peaking at -8 still sounds good. Okay, now let's go back 20 years ago and listening to a song by Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze. But this is at a time when they were still using tape. And mastering back then wasn't really a really big thing. But let's see how it sounds like. 15 RMS, and the waveform as well, and the spectral analyzer, it's still peaking a little bit on the high end on all that kind of stuff. But 20 years ago, music was very soft because we had amplifiers in our hi-fi systems that we still do have now, but we have those like they could really chuck out that kind of sound. But this is quite quiet. Let's move back in 9 years ago. Actually, I might be wrong about the Purple Haze songs. Probably 30 or 40 years ago. I keep forgetting we're in freaking 2020. So let's play an LMFAO track, which also represent like the club scene and how club music is. And now this is also going back to that very compressed sound. And I already kind of know how it's gonna sound like and look like in the RMS values. But let's see. That song as well, very high. There's a lot of sizzle on the side. The high end is very bright. It's even the kick is side chaining with the whole song just to have more thud out of it, but there's not a lot of bass. And it's peaking at -6 RMS. Crazy. It's crazy what you think, like where like how loud music is, like, and how it should be and stuff. I'm gonna play you one more song by our very own local talent, but I guess he's not home like local anymore since he's in the US. I'm gonna play a Nasty C track featuring ASAP Ferg made by Tweezy Beats. So this is also a South African producer, but I doubt he mixed it as well. But let's just hear how it sounds like too.
You niggas got balls talking all that shit. Niggas these days talk more than a bitch. Internet gangster, click boy click. Shut the fuck up, dog. Sit boy sit. Being fake niggas, we just don't mix. They hugging too tight, now it's dick on dick. I take what I take cause it helps me think. You should be careful what you put in your drink, little boy. Certified.
See, it's so crazy just to see on the spectral board how different songs sound like. And I keep telling my students, I keep telling the people that I give advice to when it comes to music, and especially when they come in terms of mastering, they're all thinking that mastering is like a magic bullet and all that kind of stuff. It's just that you don't have to think too much about the song, you know what I mean? Master it your own style. Get a style of like another engineer and producer that you really like the song to sound like, or that has a similar vibe and everything like that, and then just master it kind of sound like that. Affect the EQ, add a little bit more compression if the song is also a bit more compressed and stuff, just to get it to that vibe, you know what I mean? Or alternatively, if you also experienced as an engineer and you've been doing it long enough, you can just master it with your own reference monitors, provided you know what level music sounds like, or if you had enough time and practice, which you eventually will get there too. Just in conclusion as well, like I said, different spectrums, different across the board, or different music and stuff like that will sound different from one engineer to the next. Hell, even your songs will sound mastered like differently from each other. The only thing that you can do as an engineer on yourself, or as a sound engineer, is anything, is to master your songs that sound cohesive in one album. You don't have one song that's too loud, the other one that's too soft. You make sure the vocals are sitting like ideally at the same place per song and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to conclude that video over there. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button and give me a comment. Tell me that I suck. That's also cool and everything. And stay blessed, guys. See you in the next one.